name is Laura Dupont, and I just want to mention that there are still quite a few people outside who haven't been able to get in. I've been to the ash slough where we were told to get back into our vehicles and not take pictures of the 4-kilometer hole that's blown through the side of a mountain there. The scope of these projects is huge. Micro and green are terribly misleading words that you use. Speaking of misleading, the list of groups that you have on the sign to the left, right over there, you say you have consulted with them. Well, my watershed group is on that sign, and you've never consulted with them once. I have a couple questions. First one is for parks. You guys tell me, what do I tell my children when our parks have been dismantled for industrial development? And how does Run of River propose to replace parkland by giving us additional land that already belongs to us?
So there's been no decision, of course, on the parking lot today. That decision is coming forward with the minister. The minister has 6 months to take to his cabinet colleagues a decision that started at the beginning of December. So our role here tonight is to gather information on public involvement in terms of what the public has to say. It's one component of information that will go to
The lady has asked a question, she's expecting an answer. Would you please respect her request for an answer and allow the gentleman from Parks to finish?
So in terms of that, the information that's set out in the government policy, and if you haven't seen it, it's available on the website. This is the direction that BC Parks has been given to implement. Is this government policy on boundary amendments? And that's what we're doing in terms of the various components. One of the components that we're hearing through these public meetings is what does the public have to say in terms of the boundary amendment. And that's part of the information. And that's part of the information that will be taken
question at a time.
to the minister.
Do you also know that as of this evening's meeting that your website is down and inaccessible? Because it is. It is. Check it out. Okay. I have one more question, actually 2 more, for the environmental assessment people. Can you guys tell me, what do I tell my children when they no longer have access to our rivers and streams that have been sold to a company who sold them to a corporation?
Good answer!
At this stage, we're still in the early steps in this process. We have not yet even received an application from the proponent laying out the details of their project, the details of the impacts of the project, the nature of the concerns, and how they propose to address those issues. So when we get that information from the proponent, then we're in a position to start our review and evaluation of their information.
One more question for you. What do I tell my children when they ask where our salmon have gone? The Upper Pitt's the last stronghold of Fraser River coho.
The issue regarding salmon and other fisheries and wildlife species should be included in the environmental assessment application that is submitted to us. We will look at all of that information. We'll gather feedback from Department of Fisheries and Oceans, Ministry of Environment, other technical fisheries biologists before a recommendation is ever made on this project.
Thank you. Has the environmental assessment process ever been turned down for any of these projects ever in the history of BC?
No project has been turned down. I would just like to make the point that a number of projects never reached completion of the environmental assessment process because of the site-specific concerns that may be expressed with respect to those projects.
My last question is for Run Up River. Is the sale of our rivers to a company like yours not, in fact, stealthy privatization of our water?
We're responding to the province's energy plan, where the province has indicated looking into independent power producers as part of the solution. Not the entire solution, but part of the solution to the BC's growing energy needs.
Thanks.
Thank you. Microphone number 2.